Yo, with Mach-Hommy, I think we witnessing a once an era, once in a generation type talent. I think bar for bar, he's the best rapper on the planet. What he does from a lyricism and complexity standpoint, nigga be out here rapping with the spirit of MF Doom. It's the follow-up to his 2018 project. He did bring his sidekick, the guy Fahim, along, you know, for better or for worse. I like to think of them as the Heat, like that 2011 Miami Heat, but it ain't always Bron and Wade. Sometimes it be sounding like Bron, Mach-Hommy, and Fahim is like Mario Chalmers or Norris Cole. Fahim's definitely capable of bringing a solid performance. He just be a little wishy-washy sometimes. Fahim and Mach normally do show a high level of chemistry, and Mach is more than capable of carrying the project if he got to. Hopefully he don't, but we finna get into it.
I'm Apex, they straight sex. I got the game pressed. They try to sleep on me like a Hästens. I'm Big Haitian.
The Hästens mattress brand.
Fuck was niggas thinking.
Hey, Mach a hungry nigga. That nigga got the most food bars outside of anybody except maybe Action Bronson. Nigga, I didn't even know rice came in black. If this project came out last month, I'd have been eating that all through Black History Month.
In the Continental Mach, not Mac. I'm on a different mission.
It's not Mac.
Listen,
and please
she
use the
say she get it
hyphen.
from her dad. That's when niggas miss.
Rain down on you with swords. Another demolition. You don't want to crash with the
Port Silver rhyme scheme to start.
See you on the next world tour. My hustle's intuition. Gotta be prepared for the war. I see the bigger picture.
Alright, I ain't mad at that at all. I really like that beat. I like Saddle Gold's out of the box style, and he continues to get just weirder and weirder. Sound like that was a reverse sample. No drums, just that off-kilter loop. I really like Mach's verse, the braggadocio. I liked his rhyme schemes. He had this rapid fire 2-syllable to start, and then he switched it up for the second half of his verse. Fahim had a pretty good verse too. Pretty good rhyme schemes from him too. Slick talk as well. This is Bad Hands.
Meanwhile, niggas try to keep you under.
That's an interesting sample.
Right, another great white for all cause late night tastes nice. Hey, you need some hollandaise, boy, your waves right. I kept the meanest pound of haze for the same price. That's when I play nice. Nowadays, I get my cake ice.
This cake ice rhyme scheme is tough. Right now, he's getting to some pretty abstract street talk. I think those great white Orca's bar was talking about him creeping at nighttime. Now it's like he's moving back to reminiscing over selling weed back in his like childhood or youth.
The bitches pussy mistaken for art. Can't none of you skittish niggas take it apart. We doing donuts with somebody 8'6". Don't none of this shit belong in page 6. We some handsome motherfuckers slipped out the...
Yeah, he's weaving back and forth between like where he is now and how he grew up. It's reminiscent of his storytelling back on The Gat.
Slipped out the jumpsuit, put on some shoes in front shoe. You niggas ain't shit. You my favorite.
That front alliteration is tough.
With. Okay then, I lay vagina monologues on
now
the
this
day
A alliteration.
Don't quit your day job, you gotta stay fat. No pun intended, niggas ain't y'all. We got the lay tag.
I'm not sold on this beat, but that's a tough verse.
I take a crown and leave you up to revenge.
Maybe ratchets, they blasting streets, ninja assassin. Niggas is trigger wrestling, it's depressing with Maggie.
He's floating right now.
Return to essence, I've been investing, destined to rise. Since an adolescent, it's been a blessing. When dots start connecting, the answers will come to question. The mind is precious, but it's also a deadly weapon.
Hey, I don't know about that beat. I don't know about that chorus. But them niggas was spitting. The beat sounded like a Charlie Brown type beat. I don't know where that sample came from. The mix on the chorus sounded like he used a toilet paper roll as a microphone. But them verses was fire. Both Mach and Fahim described them getting out the mud and niggas hating on them, and I think they did it in a really slick, technically sound way. When Fahim delivers a good verse like he did on this song, I really appreciate the contrast between the two of them because they rapped on the same topic, but Mach did it in his abstract, complex, heady way, and Fahim was a little bit more straightforward, but he had the rhyme schemes to make it enjoyable. So lyrically sick, sonically, this is from Vailsburg to Vaudeville.
While I was flying flower, you cowards can't get no higher power. Rifles are powered.
Playing with
niggas
his power
wasn't
rhyme
even
scheme
buying
is
dough.
fire.
We was swapping this for hollow tips that stay inside the sour, or is it soya? Either way, you gave me what I came for. Maybe you live longer.
Hey, Jay-Z made a killing off this where you take a word and like you mispronounce it on purpose. It was real clever here because he actually didn't mispronounce it, but people say Sig Sawyer all the time, but I think the actual pronunciation is Sig Sauer. He said something about the bullets being inside the sour, or is it Sawyer, and then he took that into another rhyme scheme. That's fire.
I know you buy your teeth, you buy the ton away. I saw you by the beach, you tried to bum away.
Mach's vocals normally sound better than this. I haven't liked this chorus or the Bad Hands chorus.
Look on my album cover, you can see real, you still lying. Look on my album cover, you can the gin and tonic, shamanic, make niggas spin like Sonic. The gym was onyx, no polish.
He's going
Hate
in
to see
right
a friend,
here.
I fathered more kids at the barbers.
Live by your karma, tomorrow's not promised.
He's
Plant
faster than
seeds
that
like a
second
farmer,
verse.
gain commas for frying them seeds like Futurama.
They do this a lot, but I like how Fahim picked up where Mach-Hommy left off with his rhyme scheme.
Stay behind us. I'm about my green like I was Blanca. Think I'ma need a money machine and count the dollars. Fill my river.
Talk that Street Fighter 2 talk.
Streams of income until it's flooded. We be star-studded. I'm the best and you far from it.
I like the beat for the most part, but it was a really short loop, so like towards the end of the song, it got a little bit repetitive, but pretty good beat. I think Mach spazzed on his 2 verses. I especially like that rapid fire delivery at the end of his second verse, and then the first half of the second verse, he kept referencing the fire that's on the front of the album cover from this album, and used that as an entendre for like being in the fire, being in the streets, being in danger growing up in Vailsburg. I think that was a solid verse from the guy Fahim. I think their chemistry is playing well, given how complex Mach-Hommy's verses have been. And then Fahim's been driving home the concept of each song on these first 3 tracks. This is Niggas So Good, or excuse me, Niggas So Good.
We running trains like Thomas and James. It's 808s and hot cakes, hard pain till I vomit.
Bro, that's so ignorant.
I galvanize the room when I walk in. It's me, I twist chi-ba. The opposition gets weed mob. I used to cook the bacon in the telly with my razor I was shaving. Waiting on the celly with my pager. First nigga with the star tack in the whole hood. Had a car with some dog tags.
I like them
Niggas
prison
no
bars
good.
like that.
I kept the sob keying around my neck from the mud pussy.
Sometimes you gotta hit your head hard to learn. Haters on my heels trying to spread they germs.
Uh-oh, here go Fahim with them 1-syllable rhyme schemes. Here go Norris Cole.
Spread the earn. I hold my shield up, a nigga stability firm. Now watch they throwing boulders so my heart got colder in this swamp moat with guns get popped like soda. Got a nice quote. We smoke, we roll
Alright, he
like
picked it up
strobers.
right here.
Burn more gas than 12-cylinder motors. Pin pyromancy. I'm fancy, I'm living dandy, no lying. I've been a winner, no tying.
I'm living dandy, no lying. I've never heard a bar teeter the fence between like being corny and being amazing like this bar. Cause like, okay, this nigga said he's living dandy. This nigga used the word dandy in a rap song. You know, that's pretty corny. But dandy no lying, like he's not lying, a dandy lying. That's like corny and good at the same time. It's basically like elotes.
Ain't no mercy, all of my verses bodies they denying. Ain't no coalition in the addition to the science.
I ain't gonna hold you. That song really wasn't that good. And Mach's performance on this song, like, it's good rapping, but it don't back up what I said about him being the best rapper on the planet. Like, it's cool rapping. It's been good rhyme schemes throughout, but like, I'm used to him pulling out rhyme schemes where it's like, I've literally never heard anyone do that before. Like, just take, for example, on his last 2 albums, whatever song where he had all those flippy light bars, like he spazzed on that song. Or on Dollar Menu, the Macabre A6 or whatever that song's called, where he was rhyming every single syllable. It's just good rhyme schemes. And I do like the fact that he's been personal in a lot of his verses, but nothing just wowing me. I think I can say the same thing about the beat. I really love the Pissy Hästens beat, but the other beats have just been cool. They've been like a okay backdrop for them to rap on. Surprisingly enough, after I done called this nigga Mario Chalmers, I liked Fahim's verse better than Mach. Now, he started out kind of bad with them 1-syllable rhymes. You should not be rapping 1 syllable at all. Rakim did not make Eric B as president in the 80s for you to be rapping 1 syllable. But like 6 bars in, Fahim really picked it up. That dandelion bar, I already talked about that. You know, he'll say some iffy stuff like the bowel movement line, but the flow and the rhyme schemes, they were better than Box on the second half of that verse. Hopefully these niggas pick it up. This is Cold Milk.
They look you in your eye with disgust, act like you on drugs, blood. I don't run off on the plug. I'm Mac's daughter, thug. You little dirty niggas on dust. Your cash is for a fuck. You ain't gonna never know what it's like to own more than us. Sensitive thug, alright, we pop off for real with no chat inside. Chocolate dies, last thoughts is hell. Everybody catching
right
black
now.
and white, ballad of the shell. Making morning sales, you don't pop unless you order 12. Fuck the 6 pop. I flip crocodiles, what's on the shelf, flying off the shelf. Gift drop like Michael Jordan 12. You calling 12, be hip hopping faster forward well.
Dang, I really wish I understood what he was saying with that 12 wordplay, because it seemed like he was going somewhere talking about the Jordan 12s. I think he was talking about 12 gauge. And then he was talking about 12 as like the amount of drugs they was buying. Seemed like he was going somewhere with that punch, but that went over my head.
I can't play no nigga Jim till your Tom Sawyer.
Yo, Mark Twain, a wild boy. He had a character named Nigger Jim.
2 L's make a dub and it's cold milk. Plenty laughs around the sun, I get some hoes drilled.
When it comes to this
like a
rap
dub-
shit,
double
with me
line.
there's no equivalent. Cut the end, biblical cord, don't need no middleman. I'm taking shit by force now, verbal intercourse style. Show no remorse style, I keep coming with more styles. Learn to keep my cipher complete. Since Illmatic, bet I make Big Frank do acrobatics, I'm charismatic.
He's had two Nas references. He had a verbal intercourse reference, and then the make my cipher complete since Illmatic. I like that. Fahim's pen's been on point. I don't think Mach has been on 100%. This song is an exception, but Fahim, he's been on one.
About my goals and gold, I throw a diamond at it. All my stats platinum rank. We hustle automatic.
Yeah, this is the best song on the project easily, in my opinion. This the type of production I expect from Craven. He found a sick sample with that horn and smooth guitar under it. Best chorus on the album. Mach brought it with both verses. This is the best rapping from a technical standpoint he's had on this album. Fahim had one verse where I didn't like it from start to finish, but other than that, he's been rapping well. He don't have the raw talent as Mach, but it's like when your role player go out there and give you 18 points. You know, you don't want your star player driving 18, but you'll take that. Yeah, this is the chemistry between Mach, Fahim, and Craven that I was expecting coming in this album. Let's get into everybody.
You know, many cold wars trapped in this rodeo, revolving like yo-yos, ass starts to provoke.
Play with this, the old sound is fire.
Up like custodians. Niggas be sodium whenever I step to the podium. It's pandemonium.
Niggas be sodium salted.
Pull up in that Panamera, watch niggas be petroleum jet.
Yo, Fahim floated them opening lines, the 3-syllable rhyme scheme at the end, and play it with the O sound in the middle of the lines.
They was hoping I failed. I clipped the dragon by the tail. I did it on my own like Oprah and Gail.
Everybody famous, don't nobody break a leg.
These choruses sound like when rappers hear a beat for the first time and they just start like blabbering stuff to try to find a flow.
Everybody, 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 everybody.
Bro, what are we doing?
Everybody.
What are we doing?
Everybody.
And then they harmonize and saying that
You address me
BS.
as Mr. Little Nigga, my last name Hommy. Y'all fill your glasses with Asani, you think that shit is clean?
Yeah, I don't really understand the Dasani hate. Niggas act like Dasani is the villain. The real villain is Deer Park. That water is disgusting.
Body's Catholic, my shotty lick off a shot in your porta potty. The dumb lineage ain't in you.
Porta potty into the dump line. Clever writing.
The mitochondria just ain't familiar and it's really ain't your venue.
Bro, Mach out here making sure you paid attention in school. He said the mitochondria ain't familiar. Mitochondria make the energy in your body. That's clever wording.
You deteriorate your mental and pen and pencil, stencil, our credentials still spin you like Tibet prayer wheel. Stay ill and raid the temple. I made you like a reservation.
Yo, that prayer wheel line is fire. He said that Tibetan prayer wheel line in another song. I can't remember which one, but that's why he said still spin you like Tibetan prayer wheel. But then the next line, the rage of temple, because the prayer wheels be in the, I guess, Tibetan temples, and then that's like an entendre for your temple. That's tough.
I made you like a reservation still in ancient littles. How many dollar menus?
I made you like a reservation. That's hard.
Every time I say the spin, you make a vigil. Say the candlelight compliments the dimples.
All right, the project really picking up on these last two tracks. Compared to the first 5, the rapping just been on a different level from Mach on Cold Milk and this joint here. I think that sample was cool. It wasn't the best beat on the album, but it wasn't the worst either. To me, the biggest issues I'm having with some of these samples is they just seem like way too short of loops, given how minimal they are. The samples are really out of the box, so I appreciate that. Fahim might have gave his best verse here. The opening rhyme scheme was amazing. I think he lost a tad bit of steam on like the last 4 bars, but he came with the heat to open it up. Mach-Hommy's rhyme patterns were elite on this song, and then the slick wordplay throughout as well. I am feeling that one. This is Olajuwon.
We run it up like Hush Puppy and Mr. Woodbury. Without the Hummer stunting, touching a million cool head me. The groove theory was a bump on the nigga Bruce Billy. The Tooth Fairy run it up when I stick and move illy. It's Bruce Willie and my
I like that line of Tooth Fairy run it up when I stick and move. You talking about punching your teeth out?
They legalize the herb posse after niggas flaunt. They penalize the curb ration, that's when niggas stop. Behold the low, fruit hanging fatter than a fuck.
That's part of the project in general just had a lot more lyrical focus than Mach's projects typically have. Generally, he's rapping about street stuff or food and just going. But those last couple of lines talking about how they legalized weed, but niggas still went in jail for it and how they cracking down on the curb, I'm rocking with it.
This last shit became public, don't main, as soon as he spit it, he a wizard. His name is Mach-Hommy. He the illest shit is doomsday. Whenever he drop, he body niggas' feelings. Got carbon copy.
Hey, I compared him to Doom. He comparing himself to Doom now with that Doomsday line.
The upper crust think you must think. You got the touch king. You up swinging. Show them how to go about combusting. They hush up, sing. They nothing. They out of touch, king.
They out of touch like elders to the younger crowd. It's different.
That's hard. They out of touch like elders to the younger crowd. That's hard. Then that plays off of Mach-Hommy's last line.
Niggas running wild like rabid dogs, so I gotta pack the bulldog.
Okay. Fahim, man. He trying to cancel out that hard line he just had. When you do metaphors, you're supposed to have like a double meaning to it. Niggas running wild like rabid dogs. That's like saying the coop was red like an apple. Like that's not a double meaning. You just saying stuff. It's supposed to have a double meaning like the coop was red like a subtitle. Horrible example, but you get my drift.
You don't know what to do with the rock, boy, pass it
that
off.
Siren
I'm
is
ahead of
hard
my
in that
time by
sample.
light years from blasting off. I never change up like cartoon clothes, still leaving the
That's
movie
hard.
stain.
That's hard. That's hard. Bro, this has been a roller coaster.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do in life is move on.
God Fahim, Shaq voice, I want to apologize. I was not familiar with your game. Despite me even clowning one of his bars, that nigga came through with two of the best punches on a whole project. The out of touch like the elders with the younger crowd, and then the never change up like cartoon clothes. Those are hard. And then the contrast is Mark has the more subtle wordplay, so it's good to get a like in your face punch. It feels kind of like a payoff for sifting through all those more subtle, complex bars. The best song on the album, in my opinion, another really creative sample. It's probably the most out of the box sample on the project, but I also think it was the best one. The sample was super textured as well. I think my favorite part about it was probably those keys. Fahim really thrived with his punching, and Mach, he thrived with the flows and the melodic delivery that he got into. Super dynamic delivery on here. The lyrical focus that they've had throughout this album, it reminds me of the first Duck Season project that they had, and overall this second half of the album has been really good. This is Wellness Cheques.
God for Mach-Hommy and the Dump Collective, cause now I look at rap business with some real perspective. See, I can handle street shit, but rap is real reckless. Niggas talking out they necks while wearing steel necklace.
Yeah.
And everything.
I'm me to the masses, active till my breathing is backwards. I throw this weight up, hey, I'm heaving the package. But wait, cuz, if that day
This
come,
pocket
I
right
leave
here
it
is
to
tough.
Dads and Bay Bruh. So Peanut, Tiny Lane, and Lil Don can stay up.
Just because you think dog shit is chocolate ice cream, don't make nobody else wanna lick you, wanna fight me. I suggest you buy yourself a sporty whip, it's gonna be frightening, totally crazy. Roses, posies, daisies, they pushing up petunias and magnolias, hoes we lazy. We procreating,
Pushing them flowers.
pouring out ammonia on these play fiends. Clean up your act to get your nut ass tore up for baked beans.
Hey, I don't know what it is, but they flipped the switch on the second half of the album. Outside of Olajuwon, this might be the best beat on the album. Craven picked another sick sample. The saxophone on it goes crazy, and this is another really textured beat. I think Big Chico was the first one, and Left Lane D-Don was the second one. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chico didn't have the most lyrical verse, but I do think he sounded great on the song. Left Lane, initially I was thinking he didn't have the most lyrical verse when he started it, but as he got like midway through, he really picked it up. And then both Chico and Left Lane focused on that like rags to riches theme. So it wasn't the craziest verse from them, but I really rocked with it. Mach's verse was like pure braggadocio, and I like the slick brags and the aggression from him. It wasn't his most lyrical performance either, but once you add in how good that beat was, I think this is a highlight off the album. Let's close this thing out with Nan Dezo. I'm intrigued.
I'm fortunate, I'm not forcing it. I keep God's cipher divine and reach my coordinates. I dive a dolphin, click high pitch. Part Perocha 10 had the salt and color while I was vibing with the water nymph.
Became fortunate from unfortunate. We bring the order, separate the ghost from the subordinates. My performance
Nah, these niggas is spazzing.
with the choruses.
Odometers is climbing on pies. Not right like marketers, larging up price. Small mind might mark it up. The harbinger spark it.
Playing with his harbinger rhyme scheme on the internal before you even get to the rhyme scheme at the end. Fire.
Man over hole, spy down below with the cam soda.
Flip you like a Motorola, hitting pressure points and causing comas. Band arms bipolar, diploma. The school of hard knocks graduated and copped a Rover. Caught a corner pocket and dropped a boulder.
Nah, bro, that song was sick. Sick sample flip, one of the best instrumentals of the album, and then the chemistry between Mach and Fahim, ridiculous. Both brought it lyrically, clever bars, the rhyme schemes were top notch from both of them. That song there just illustrates how good the second half of the album has been. 4 or 5 tracks in, I thought that the album was just okay. Tracks 2 to 5, it just felt pretty stale. But then as soon as the track list got a cold milk, it was up from there. I think those last 5 songs were like as close to flawless as you can get. Fahim really surprised me with how consistently good he was. He didn't have the landmines that he can kind of get into. He might have had 1 or 2 lines that I didn't like. And then Mach, when he turns it on, he can show that he's special. Production was out of the box. I didn't like a couple of the tracks on the first half, but between the opener and the last 5 tracks, those creative left field beats from Sooooo Gold, dope crate digging from Nicholas Craven. Overall, I think the dry spot in the first half does take away from the album, but I still think this was a really solid project from Mach and Fahim.